Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new PTCGO video hitting you in the face with that Sunday upload. And today guys, we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite decks ever made. This is going to be the Vanilluxe Victini Vileplume deck, or the VVV deck, because again, Vanilluxe Victini and Vileplume all start with the letter V, so it's called the VVV deck. Now this deck, back in the day, used to be one of the better decks out there, because again, you had Vanilluxe, like, it's so hard to pronounce, so many V's, but Vanilluxe, double freeze, flip 2 coins, and does 40 times the number of heads, but if either of those coin flips were heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. And you basically had, like, no chance of getting double tails, because you had Victini, and Victini has the ability Victory Star, where you can just redo the coin flip if you want, and this was very, very good. And it allowed you to just redo double freeze if you got double tails. So you basically had a 1 in... I don't know, I'm too lazy to say the odds, but basically, the odds of you not flipping heads were so low, it was insane. And, like, you will never really get double tails with Vanilluxe. Now, this card used to be very good because of that effect, and when you comboed it with the Vileplume from Undaunted, Allergy Flower, each player cannot play any trainer cards from his or her hand. You basically shut down all items, so Junk Arms, Rare Candies, Level Balls, Ultra Balls, Lasers, Super Rod, Max Potion, Catcher, all those items get shut down completely, and that is very, very good. And they also cannot use Switch, which is the biggest thing out of that. They can't use Switch, they won't be able to put any Float Stones down, they won't be able to use Switch or Escape Rope, and they cannot get out of Double Freeze. Now, you're probably like, wow, this deck is OP broken, I gotta make it right now. Hold on, you can't. This deck is really, honestly, not the greatest, because Legacy has Keldeo-EX and Virizion-EX. Those two cards absolutely shut this deck down, and this deck is not really that good because of those two cards. Like, I hate to break it to you, but Virizion and Keldeo are very popular in Legacy, especially Virizion. And Keldeo, people use it in stuff like Ray Eels, and, you know, I've been seeing a lot more Keldeo just in decks for the Russian ability. So, guys, the deck really isn't as good as you might think. If you get that turn 2 Vileplume, it's good, but then you shut down your Rare Candies. This deck was very good back in the days when really the only way out of paralysis was the Switch, but now without Switch, and Virizion and Keldeo being super dominant, the deck is just... It's really not as good anymore. Not to mention, you're only doing 40 a turn most of the time, unless you get double heads with double freeze. It's not really that good doing 1 heads a turn. It's not really going to help you all that much. 40 a turn... extremely slow, and I mean, even with Silver Bangle, 70 a turn is okay, but 40 a turn is slow, and that is a huge problem. But we're still going to do this deck anyways, 1, for nostalgia reasons, and 2, I mean, who knows, maybe the deck is actually good, but really, I'm kind of just doing this for nostalgia, because again, this used to be one of my favorite decks. It probably is up there as like one of my all-time favorite Pokemon decks of all time. I just love this deck. Vanilluxe is such a cool Pokemon. It's so simple. It's literally an ice cream cone, but it's just so cool. It's such an awesome Pokemon. Vileplume, it's got the ability Allergy Flower. It's a very good ability, and we're going to be trying this deck out. Now, there's a lot of different things we got to add to the deck, since, again, Legacy, you can use anything from Heart Goals over to Legendary Treasure, so it opens up a lot more different cards. Because back in the day, this deck didn't have stuff like Plasma Blast and Plasma Freeze. And there's a few cards we're going to add. The first thing is going to be Smeargle. And again, this is a very slower deck because 1, we're not really doing much damage, but 2, we have to get 2 stage 2s out, and the 1 stage 2 requires 2 energies to even attack. So Smeargle is a great starter. You could just use Portrait, and it's something just to kind of take damage while you set up a Vanilluxe and a Vileplume, and it just allows you to play more supporters, and it just gives you the odds of getting those Vileplumes and Vanilluxes out a little easier. So we got 1 of those. We also got 1 Suicune. It is a water deck, and we do... And I just removed it. Oh my god. Alright, well, let me re-add that really quickly. But we do have a Suicune in the deck, because Suicune, it's got the ability that allows you to not have any EXs damage it, and this is a nice thing to start with. Again, this is a very slow deck, so having a Suicune is extremely nice to just have it sit in the active spot and just lunge attacks, because the EXs won't be able to damage it, and you can, you know, that'll give you enough time to hopefully set up a Vileplume and a Vanilluxe, and then get things rolling. So we are going to play 1 Suicune in the deck. Also, we can use Aurora Beam, because, you know, we do have the DCE in the deck. We do have Mr. Mime. Landorus EX is a huge problem. Even though Vanilluxe hits it for weakness, you know, Hammerhead can still pick off those Vanillites and Oddishes before they become anything, so, and Victini has 60 HP, so it's very easy for Hammerhead to just knock your bench out, so we do need one Mr. Mime in this deck to kind of soften that. And I threw in a Mewtwo-EX, you know, why not? It gives me more reasons to play the DCE with the Suicune, so you know what, we can just put the DCE onto Mewtwo. You never know when X-Ball can be a good attack. X-Ball with Vileplume in play could be a very good combo. You never know when, you know, having Vileplume and using X-Ball is going to make your life a whole lot easier. It's going to be a nice little combo, so we're going to play one Mewtwo-EX, plus you never know when Mewtwo can pop up, because Mewtwo can shut down Vanilluxe, because, you know, you get enough energies on, and then, you know, they can just knock you out for double freeze. And we got one Jirachi. Jirachi just allows us to grab, like, a supporter we need, especially the most useful one is going to be Twins in this deck, and we'll get to that later, but we do got one Jirachi, and yeah, that's basically all we got. We got 4 Vanillite. We do play 2 Vanillish, because once we get Vileplume in play, Rare Candy is shut down, so we can't just Rare Candy another Vanilluxe, so we're going to have to manually evolve Vanillish to get the thing going. So we're going to be playing 2 Vanilluxe, or Vanillish, and then 4 Vanilluxe. And yeah, those are all my Pokemon we got in the deck. We can get to the items and supporters. Not many items in this deck, to be honest with you. We do want one Computer Search. Computer Search is a very good card. And it can allow you to just Computer Search, grab Rare Candy, get the Rare Candy going. So we got that. 3 Level Balls. Level Balls, since mostly everything in this deck has under 90 HP. You know, Victini, Oddish, Vanillish, Gloom, Vanillite, Mr. Mime, Smeargle, all those things, and even Jirachi have under 90 HP, so we got 3 Level Balls. I'm not going to be running 4 because once we get Vileplume in play, yeah, Level Ball really not that good. 4 Rare Candies. We need to maximize the amount of Rare Candies we have so that we can get the Vileplume and Vanilluxe in play as quick as possible. 2 Ultra Balls. You know, 2 I think is fine enough. Anymore, I don't think we need them. Plus, you know, it's an item card. We don't need those. 3 Colress, and we're going to be running a lot more supporters, so that's why I went with 3 Colress. Because late game, you know, you kind of want to have more supporters than you want to have items, because if you just start drawing into items, you won't be good. So Colress can just allow you to give you more draw support, to set up more Vanilluxes and stuff for later. 1 N. I don't think you need any more N, because once it comes to late game and you N yourself into a bunch of items or something, it's, yeah, not that good. 2 Pokemon Collectors. This nice little starting card, you know, you can Collector for an Oddish, a Vanillite, and maybe like a Victini or Mr. Mime or something, so we got 2 of those. 4 Juniper. Juniper is great when you can just start dumping useless stuff. 2 Ponce. Again, shuffling stuff I don't really think is as good, because you don't really want to be drawing into useless items. And I went with Colress more because Colress, you know, we're going to have a full bench most of the time, so with Colress we're going to be drawing more cards than Professor Juniper Theory, so I only went 2 of those. 2 Skyla. Skyla is very important because we're going to need to use Skyla to get Rare Candies and Level Balls and stuff like that early on in the game. And now we got 2 Twins. Twins is one of the greatest things that this deck has. Now, this deck, again, you're going to, you know, set up a little slowly, and you're probably going to fall down in prizes by the time you get the lock going. So with Twins, and you're going to see how important Twins is in the game I got, what it's going to allow you to do is grab 2 cards from your deck if you're basically losing in the prizes. And this is amazing. You could literally just grab Rare Candy Vileplume, Rare Candy Vanilluxe, and whatever you need to set up. And that's why we got 2 Twins. I want to run more, but I think just Twins is so important in this deck. You can honestly take out maybe Pokemon Collector, throw in a 3rd Twins, because Twins is literally the most important card in this deck, and it's going to be hard for you to catch up in prizes at one point because of Double Freeze doing so much less damage. So 3, even 4 Twins might be better, so we're going to go with 2. Again, taking out a Pokemon Collector for Twins may not be a bad idea. We got 1 Float Stone. We're just going to use this for like a Vileplume. You know, if we ever get the Float Stone before we get the Vileplume in play, it's going to be really nice. We're just having Float Stone on in general to retreat Suicune or something. It's just really good. 1 Silver Bangle. Again, we're not going to be running too many just because of Vileplume, but, you know, Silver Bangle, if we ever need to, we can make Double Freeze do more damage, which is always nice. 1 DCE. DCE we're going to use for the Mewtwo or the Suicune, and we got a total of 8 Water Energies. Now, 9 might be a little better, and I accidentally removed one again. Oh my god, what the heck. But we are going to be running a total of 8 Water Energies. And again, Double Freeze, you need 2 energies. Without Super Rod, it is a little rough, so maybe 9 could be better, but I don't know what you could take out. But yeah, we do need a lot of Water Energies for the Vanilluxe, since again, it needs 2 energies to attack. So I think 8 is a good amount. So this is the Vanilluxe Vileplume Victini deck that I have. One of my favorite decks ever made on this game. And I did manage to find 1 game of this deck. I didn't get 2 games. I only got 1. It's a little shorter of a video, but I mean, you guys won't mind. So let's go see the deck in action and see if we can get that Vileplume and the Vanilluxe lock going and make my opponent suffer and cry, because that is what this deck does. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright guys, here we go with our first game with our deck, and we lose the coin flip, which is a huge bummer, because, you know, you kind of want to go first when you're playing a deck that plays 2 stage 2s that you're trying to get in play. But, we'll see how this goes, I guess. And, alright, so it looks like we could start with Victini or Vanillite, and I'm just going to start with Victini. We might have another one in the deck. We have the twins in our hand, and I think that's all we really need. I mean, we can definitely get the Vanilluxe out soon. And it looks like we're playing against a Gardevoir Mewtwo deck. So, yeah, I think maybe starting with Vanillite might have been a little better. I don't know. I'm thinking Victini was the better play. I don't know. But, I mean, with the twins in our hand, this is definitely going to be big for us, since my opponent will probably be running Mewtwo-EX. So if he is, then, yeah, that twins is going to be really good, because my opponent can probably get that Mewtwo, knocking out my Victini very quickly, and then we'll need that twins. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, this deck really does struggle here in Legacy with Brizzy and Genesect being so popular. My opponent starts with a Ralts, so it's definitely a Mewtwo deck, or a Gardevoir deck, which is another deck I kind of want to cover. Once I get my hands on one more Secret Gardevoir from Next Destinies, I'm probably going to make a video on Gardevoir. I don't know when, but you know what, it's going to happen. There's so many decks to make videos on in Legacy. It's definitely my favorite format. So my opponent grabs Mewtwo. You know what, as long as he doesn't run like Keldeo or Virizion, which I doubt he does, we are probably going to be good. So hopefully we just see a pass. No, we do see a switch, which puts on a little bit of pressure. We see a Colress for 2, which is really nice. There's a dual ball. Hopefully this fails. Nope. Okay, it's only got one head. So my opponent grabs Voltorb. So it looks like it's an Electrode Prime deck, or maybe he plays just the Electrode with Magnetic Draw. Who knows? He has no cards in his hand. We do top deck the Oddish, which is really nice. We can do a Level Ball here. And, I mean, we can grab Victini. We could grab another Vanillite. Probably just going to grab Victini. I could grab Smeargle, but it's kind of useless right now. So we might as well just grab the Victini. And, honestly, I want to play Computer Search, but that Colress is definitely going to come in handy later. I'm just going to do the Colress now. Like, he isn't knocking out Victini unless he gets an energy top deck. And look at that, we actually managed to get a good hand off that. We can play the Vanillite down, and we can do that. So, my opponent won't be hitting our bench, so Mr. Mime is useless. My opponent says Broken Heart. I feel bad. I'm going to say a frown face. But, yep, that DC will knock me out. Now, we're not going to be able to knock him out with Vanilluxe, because we never found an energy, which really sucks. So, I'm definitely not going to Rare Candy the active Vanilluxe. I'm definitely going to have to do it to the bench. So, let's put a Water Energy on. We can play down the Gloom. My opponent says a Heart. I'll say Heart right back. I don't know, maybe this is a fan. Who knows? So, let's just Rare Candy into Vanilluxe. And we can get that Vanilluxe in play. And let's go with the Professor Juniper here. And we'll see what it gives us. Okay, so we got another Vanillite, which is nice. We got Ultra Ball. We got Colress, Oddish. Looking good. I'm probably gonna, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna Ultra Ball away the Oddish and the Collector, and I'm actually gonna try and grab a Mewtwo-EX. This way, you know, down the road, we can set up a Mewtwo. My opponent says hello. I'm gonna say hello. And you know what, let's do this. And we could evolve the active, but he's knocking me out, and that's just a waste of good vanilla. It's just a waste of good ice cream. I'm gonna play the Mewtwo down, just in case we ever need it down the road. I'm gonna say hello right back. You know what, my opponent, probably excited, who knows, but he will knock me out. Now, we are still chorusing for a pretty big hand here, so we'll bring up the Vanillite, or Vanilluxe, and maybe we can get an energy. We get another Chorus. Alright, so we can play the Vanillish, and we gotta hope we get an energy here. If we don't, this could be pretty bothersome. Vileplume and an energy would be great. No! Oh, we didn't get it. Whoo, that is not good. As long as he doesn't knock me out, we should be fine. I'm just gonna Level Ball. We can definitely Twins next turn. I'm gonna Level Ball and grab Oddish out of the deck. Just thin it out. Wait, I can do Twins, right? Yeah, I can do Twins. So, you know what? We can still do Twins. We can still knock out this Mewtwo with our own Mewtwo-EX. And you know what? I'm gonna say a frown face because I never got what I was looking for. And my opponent lasers me. If we see a Verbank, that could be bad. I mean, maybe you could run Virizion in this deck with Grass Energy, stop lasers, who knows. My opponent's trying to get heads here, and he does. So we might actually just have to sacrifice a bunch of Vanilluxes just in order to get one attacking. So hopefully we wake up. Nope. Now, thankfully, we're not dying going into my opponent's next turn. we do find a DCE top deck, which is actually really nice. So I'm just going to do this time now to just play the Twins. And I'm going to grab the Vileplume for sure. I don't think we need any other items. And I think I'll grab a Water Energy while I'm at it. We'll put the Water Energy onto Vanilluxe. We'll play the Vileplume down. We got the item lock in play finally. And I think we'll just pass the turn. That would have been really nice to have on the last turn, but whatever. He'll knock me out, and I can probably just knock him out with Mewtwo, but I kind of want to just use Vanilluxe just because it is it's a Vanilluxe deck. So we will go down. We're down a lot of prizes. You're going to get that with this deck, considering it is a little slow. And, I mean, we could knock him out with Mewtwo, but that just feels way too easy. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. No, I don't know. Maybe that was a dumb move. I'm just going to play that DCE onto Vanilluxe. I mean, that it will set up a Mewtwo for later, but it's all good. We got Mewtwo sitting on the bench, and oh, we got a Water Energy. So I kind of regret that now, but it's fine. We get Double Freeze, and it gets ahead. So this is basically the deck. It is one of the slowest decks ever to play. Like, this is a very slow deck. You're only doing 40 a turn unless you can get Silver Bangle before Vileplume. You're doing like 40, and maybe if you're lucky, you can do 80 a turn. And yeah, this deck is extremely slow, so prepare for some pretty, slow matches. Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of slow games with this deck. So we can do Twins again since my opponent kind of did that, and we can grab. Honestly, I'm just gonna grab Vanillite and Vanillish because we have the Vanilluxe in our hand, and the item lock is probably really big right now. So we just do this since we have item lock. We don't need to worry about any hammers, and let's flip again. And sadly, we aren't getting any double heads. 80 damage would be really nice on this Mewtwo. But, you know what? This is literally the slowest deck in the history of Pokemon. Well, it's not the slowest, but it is going to be the slowest. You know what I mean? It's a very slow-paced deck. So we can play the Vanillush. And honestly, I'm fine with this hand. We can just hit him with a double freeze. And we get double heads. And we can hit this Mewtwo for 80 damage, which is good. And you kind of see, I mean, when you get the Vanillush and the Vanilluxe and the Vileplume going and your opponent can't respond, you're going to be in a really good spot. So you can kind of see, whoops, didn't mean to go that, but yeah, you kind of see the strength of this deck. It is really fast. I'm just going to play a Professor Oak's New Theory right now. I could have went with Juniper, but there are still some important supporters. N is going to be very important very soon. So there's a Water Energy. We can put that onto Vanilluxe. And I'm going to try and power a Mewtwo next if we can. And I'm just going to double freeze. It really doesn't matter. We could have Frost Breath, but actually, no, we couldn't. We had a double freeze. That's right. We had the DC on. So we can knock out Mewtwo. And now, I mean, we got a Vanilluxe in play. We got a Mewtwo on the bench ready to be powered up. We can end him to 3 next turn, which is going to be very big. And sadly, I don't think I can get any more Vanilluxe in play. So that's a bit of a bummer. Pardon me. There's a Bianca from my opponent. He can powerful... thing. He could actually Swift Lunge me too, but I could just bring up, pardon me, I can bring up my other Vanilluxe, and we can start double freezing. So let's bring up the Vanilluxe, and we can double freeze, and we'll see what we top deck. We get that. Let's just end him to 3. Very good, because if he just draws a handful of items, we are going to be in a dominant position. So we'll see. There's a Water Energy, and yeah, we can start powering up a Mewtwo here for later, and let's double freeze. Oh my god, my voice. Double freeze. Again, we're going to be mostly doing 40 a turn. My opponent has a happy face. I'm just going to say happy face right back. Why not? Double freeze. Paralyze him. And yeah, this is why I love this deck. Like, back in the day when Noble Victories was in its prime, man, I loved this deck so much. But we do see an N. Alright. How many Water Energies do I have left? Okay, I should have a few left, so it's all good. We basically just draw the same hand, in all honesty. My opponent plays a Curlia down. And again, if he has a handful of items here, this is basically going to be how the game is going to play out. Skyla, we could play it, I guess. I don't know. We just double freeze for now. Double heads? No. Ah, dang it. So, again, you're doing 40 a turn, and it's going to be a very slow and very brought out match. Like, I don't even know if I want to do 2 games with this deck just because of how slow the deck is. It's like, the video is going to be like 2 hours long, and it's only going to be because of 2 games. My opponent plays a Bianca, which is actually kind of big. But you know what? I'm still feeling fine about this position. How much HP does he have? 60? Yeah, we can just knock him out with Frost Breath. So Frost Breath will take out his Gallade, and you gotta just see this position we're in. If my opponent has no way to respond to this Paralysis, we can basically just win the game with Paralysis. there's the water energy. So now our Mewtwo can start attacking, and it's going to be really big. So we can put the water energy on it. I might just play the Skyla just to burn it. I don't know. I kind of want to just Juniper. I mean, everything in his hand is pretty much useless at this point. So I guess we'll Juniper next turn. I just don't want to put my hand at low size. But no, we do get N to 3. But it's fine. I mean, if my opponent draws a handful of items, then we're going to be in a good spot. So hopefully we don't draw a handful of items. We got 2 energies. That's actually really good. So there's a tiptoe step. But you know what? It's not really working. If we get double freeze heads here, that would be really nice. So let's put a water energy onto Mewtwo. Hold off on the Professor Oak's new theory for now. And let's double freeze and 1 heads. But that is good enough. So 1 heads is fine. We can still paralyze him. He could evolve into Gallade or Gardevoir and get out of the paralysis. But he's not going to be really knocking me out, so it's fine. So my opponent just passes. I'm just going to keep double freezing. You know, there's no point just going through a bunch of cards in my deck and decking myself out. And, you know what? Why do we get the double heads now? Double freeze? Like, why you got to do that to us? So, yeah, we're in such a powerful spot right now. You kind of just see the power of this deck. Your opponent is basically helpless. Like, they can't do anything. Like, double freeze, Vileplume is in play, Victini's in play. We have another Vanilluxe on the bench. We got a Mewtwo on the bench. Everything is looking good. We don't even have to double freeze this Ralts. We can just knock it out with a Frost Breath, and it will go down to a simple little Frost Breath for 60. We can take a prize card. Vileplume, you know what? You're already in play. And, I mean, again, this deck, I don't think it's the greatest Legacy deck because, again, Virizion and Keldeo just completely shut this deck down. My opponent evolves an Electrode. He's kind of on his last foot right now. He cannot do anything. And we're just going to double freeze. It's a slow game, but it's worth it. Oh, but we get double tails. We need to flip again. Okay. Whew. I almost thought we were going to get quad tails there, but we didn't. We basically win the game now. Unless my opponent like does something crazy. We should be able to win the game. And yeah, look at that. We can just do a Frost Breath, 460, knock out this Electrode. We could have done double freeze, but there's no point dragging this game out. There's a Silver Bangle. Came a little too late. And you can kind of just see how strong this deck is. I mean, you get that Vileplume, you get that Vanilluxe, you are going to be in such a dominant position. It's not even funny. We get 25 coins off of that. Everything is looking good. I think I might have a pack to open. Let me check, actually. If I have a pack to open, I can open a pack before I end this video off. I kind of want to end the video off here. You know, this deck, again, it's a very slow deck, and with the Legacy format, it is kind of hard to actually find games where it's not against Virizion Genesect. So I'll see if I have a pack to open. I don't. Alright, rip. Well, I guess that'll end the video off here, guys, then. I know it's a little short one, but you know what, Sunday upload, and you know what, I'm kind of busy this weekend, too. I got my uncle's birthday to go to very soon, so, you know, I gotta get ready for that. I got to shower and everything, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's the video. It's just, you know, I kind of want to show off the deck and just, you know, show you guys how good it is and how fun it can be. Again, it's not the greatest Legacy deck because Virizion and Keldeo EX are so popular, they shut it down. I have a notification. Let me check this for you in this video off. I think it's a friend request. Yeah, it is. Alright. You know what? I'm a nice guy. I'm going to accept this friend request. You know what? You're all welcome. I don't know how big my friends list is. I mean, I have so many friends on here. I really don't know who's been inactive or active. I have so many friends, so you know what? If you guys run into me and want to add me, go ahead. But I don't know how many friends I have. I really need to. I need to do like a sweep of my friends list of people who I don't see online anymore. Like, look at how many friends I have. I mean, I'm not trying to like brag, but just so many people on my friends list here. It's insane. But yeah, I think that'll end off the video here, guys. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more PTCGO videos. And yeah, that's going to end things off. Hope you enjoyed the little Vanilluxe deck. And I will see you guys on another PTCGO video. And don't forget to subscribe to help me on the road to 1,000 subs. I want to see if we can hit 1,000 subs before Christmas. Forgot to add that in at the end. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Nice little Vanilluxe game. The Ice Cream deck destroys a deck. And you just see how good the deck is. Like, just the Paralysis, Vileplume, boom, so powerful. And peace out.